with a terrific victory. It's finished here, Leeds United 7, Cardiff City 0.
Well, quite simply, a brilliant performance from start to finish. We were on it, the way that the team worked together, the tempo that they played at, just way too good for a Cardiff City side who come here certainly on the crest of a wave, but they were brought down to earth pretty quickly, because once we got that first goal early on, only ever going to be one winner. Second half, I love the way that we just kept our foot to the gas and kept going, kept winning the ball back, kept scoring goals, able to rotate players at the right time as well. On we go. We'll find certainly tougher obstacles than this one, but 7 goals to the good. Let's enjoy it.
It's going to be a good evening, I suspect, around Leeds City Centre, because you don't see these ones too often, do you? It's been some day, some football, loads of goals. Leeds have been utterly, absolutely sensational. Leeds United 7, Cardiff City 0.
Well, some very happy fans, some very happy players, a very happy studio, and all round a superb performance. Second half, Bridgie, that's a demolition job, isn't it?
I said it was going to be close at the start. I said 1-0 to Leeds, 2-1 to Leeds. Because the form that Cardiff were in, let's not underestimate this, right? They were in incredible form, 16 points out of the last 8 games. And they've turned up today and we have absolutely annihilated them and sent a message, Rich, to the rest of the league saying, catch us if you can, because that performance was to every player on the park, defence to the attack to the substitutions, perfect performance.
And all the attacking players on the team sheet there, which is quite incredible. In fact, until Joel Peru scored the 7th there, 6 different scorers, you know, going into that, Stuart, for the confidence for that team walking around there now in front of the fans who are obviously staying in well beyond the final whistle here. That's some confidence booster.
Yeah, it's incredible, the quality that they have, the depth that they have. I don't know. Daniel Farke was maybe looking to send a message to the board before the game that they needed reinforcements, but after that, yes, backfired. After that, maybe they might need to go and sign anybody, but that's an incredible result for them. And they're a really, really well-oiled machine. Speaking
of what you just said, with the camera went on to Eddie Gray and Angus Kinnear in the ground there, and it was funny just to see Angus having a chat with the fans, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's what's happened here. He's saying, right, that's us done and dusted. So it's backfired on Daniel, but what an incredible performance.
Well, I think he's enjoying himself here just at the moment. Look, he's egging the crowd on, rightly he should do. In front of the stand over there, currently in front of the Cop, and he'll be making his way around, all the way around the big East stand, down to the South stand where we are here in the studio. And, you know, Manor Solomon and Brendan Aronson, who've got those 2 goals to get us going early on, and again showing the importance and the power of getting yourself going quickly here, Stu.
Yeah, we talked about it before the game, about a fast start and not allowing teams to disrupt the game, and we got that. And you know, the half then drifted away, but we said again at half time about coming out, and if they got a 3rd goal, the game was more or less done. And you know, it's Cardiff have an absolute nightmare coming here. You concede 4 and they're probably thinking we'll settle for this, but then 5, 6 and 7 is just annihilation, as Bridgie said.
Put me coach's hat on here and thinking of Daniel Farke in his position. It's absolutely incredible that you're able to make the substitutions to rest the players. That was so invaluable in that performance, to bring on players who were hungry to get the goals. Matteo Joseph, Willie Gnonto. If 2 players needed a goal, it was Willie Gnonto and Joseph Matteo Joseph. Just superb performances all round, by the way. And yeah, what a time to get the result as well.
The players going off there. I mean, look, there's a lot of pressure on Leeds, isn't there? Sometimes playing teams that are lower in the league. There's an expectancy, isn't there, that they should be going out, putting 2s, 3s, 4s. But this kind of exceeds anything you could expect from that.
How many times have we threatened this season, Stu, about a team are going to get hurt here? And we've had a lot of missed opportunities, missed chances. And you go from the Burnley game where it was non-existent, 1 shot, to this. I mean, yeah, special.
Yeah, it's amazing how many fans are still in here, but why would you want to leave when there's an atmosphere going on like there is just at the moment? This is very much a party atmosphere that we've got at Elland Road at the moment. A superb performance. We'll bring you reaction from the tunnel as soon as we've got that. With Daniel Farke, I'm sure he'll be delighted to speak to Bryn and Tony, and we'll be heading down there in just a moment. It of course does mean that Leeds remain top of the Sky Bet Championship table as well. Burnley having drawn last time we were looking, that would put a 5-point buffer there between them. Sheffield United have won today, but really it's been a very good day at the office here at Elland Road with those important games to come. Coventry away in the week and then back here for the Cup game as well. I think we're going to speak to Dan James in a moment, but just very quickly, Bridget, I mean, what a performance.
Oh, man of the match, outstanding performance. And what I love about Dan's performance as well, he's got the goal, yeah, that he deserved, but it's the selflessness of himself. And what is the mantra of this thing? Side before self. And with the assist that he got today, that's what he's all about.
Set us up perfectly, Bridgie. Let's head down to the tunnel where we've got Dan James hopefully waiting for us. Here we go. Dan James joining us in the tunnel live after this huge win for Leeds United. Dan, congratulations. Couple of assists, won the penalty, got the goal. Don't know how many games you've been involved in where the crowd are chanting, "We want 7," but that was some performance, mate.
We won 8 at the end. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, what a performance today. Everyone chipped in today. It was, I think they've come off 8 games unbeaten, and we were going into the game, I think we thought, it was going to be a tough game, but I thought from the off we were absolutely brilliant, and we didn't give them a sniff in the game, and it was goal after goal, but we're 2-0, we're coming at half time, and it's about, we don't want to be safe now. I think games where we've tried to come a little bit down, we're 2-0 up, we're a little bit safe, and it's like, no, let's go and get more goals. We've scored 2 the first half, and I thought we were absolutely brilliant that second half, getting the third, getting the fourth, and then just absolutely pushing on for them. And it's important, especially these home games, to not give anyone a sniff, especially if we go up in Leeds. So we were absolutely brilliant today, and you see everyone coming off the bench, and special mention to Junior as well. He's been out a while and he's got 3 assists today. So, but yeah, everyone chipped in today.
DJ, congratulations, Bridgie. What a performance, man! Our half-time analysis might as well have been the Dan James highlight show. You were absolutely magnificent. Couple of questions for you in one. What was said before the game? Because the start was absolutely ruthless, and then, like you say, at 2-0, what was the message coming out at second half from the staff?
Yeah, cheers, Bridgie. I think the message was, once we play through the lines, we've got to play forward. We knew that they were going to have, try and get pressure on the ball today, but when we were facing the last line, they were playing quite high, so it was just about exposing that, and that's where the first 2 goals come from. And then obviously the third is, it's a great passage of play with Mano, and then Junior, who've got a great link up as well. He always knows that I'm going to be back post, so thankfully I was there, because I was. But then obviously going to the penalty, I was quite frustrated because I've got a tap in from 2 yards.
Yeah.
And he's just somehow got my leg and took me out on purpose. I spoke to the referee after the game because I don't know how it's not a red card. He's told me that it's only a red card if he pulls me back, but he's not gone for the ball, so I don't know why it's not a red card. So I have to look at the rules again.
It's this double jeopardy rule, mate. You never know what it's meant to be. If there's a yellow card,
well, they've changed it because it used to be if you don't try and check.
That's a professional foul for me on you. He's got to go.
They've changed it. If it's a pull, if it's you take someone out, not trying to get the ball, it's exactly the same thing. But apparently they've changed the rules. But yeah, I was frustrated because it would have been the second goal, and I was quite pissed off. So yeah.
DJ, I want to ask you. Obviously, you're one of the senior lads now, and as the weeks go on and the wins keep coming, expectations keep growing. How hard or how challenging is it for yourself and Ethan and Joe and players like that to keep the young lads in check, because we know they can get a bit giddy at times, and obviously, as I say, expectation keeps growing week in, week out. How, as a senior player, are you keeping check on the younger lads?
Yeah, I think for us, we know last season, that feeling of not going up was so frustrating and disappointing, and we don't want that this season. And the manager speaks about it, we speak about it, that we don't want to feel that again. And every game is so important. We've worked so hard to get to this point of the season to be top of the league, and we don't want to drop that. We never want to come off that top spot, and we've got to keep pushing. And especially these home games. But it's going to be a tough game on Wednesday night against Coventry. But yeah, for me, I don't. I like the responsibility. I don't feel like I'm a loud person in the dressing room. I've never really been it, but I like to try and set example on the pitch and talk to players and try and lead the line a little bit by getting up to pressing and starting off like that. So I kind of leave the other boys to that. It's not really. I wouldn't say it's not me as a person. I'm definitely like that, but I'm more encouraging rather than the shouty type, as you know. But as I said, I like to lead example on the pitch.
Dan, let's show you your goal, actually, because we talked about the importance of a fast start in the game today, and we've done that for the last few games here at Elland Road, but then fast start to the second half as well. You were instrumental in so much. Talk us through this. Let's focus on the goal that you scored here for a moment. One of course, 7 today, but it was a great passage of play, like you say.
Yeah, obviously it's a nice little ball from Mano. I think I think Junior got me maybe 5-6 assists last season. 6 goals last season by just playing that ball. I said to him, I'm always gonna be back post and just hit that area, and thankfully it did. It's they're the easy goals, but it's just about making the run. You might not get it 5 or 6 times, but the 7th you're in and you get your goal. I think Mano had one first half when he was just offside, and I was a bit disappointed with that, but it was nice to get on the score sheet today.
I've got to say, Dan saying that was an easy finish. When that ball's coming across you for an open goal, my head's open. Just there's 100 things go through your head in the back of the goal.
Dan, we'll leave it there. Don't want to take up any more of your time.
Thank you.
Just a warning: if you keep playing this well, we keep having to speak to you after the game. So it's kind of we appreciate your time, but it's all the good performances.
Well, DJ, I'm staying down tonight in Leeds, so I'm going to have a cracking night out. Thanks to you and the rest of the lads in the team.
Top man, you enjoy it, Bridge, you deserve it. Don't take Stewie, man. Liability.
Cheers, Dan. Much appreciated. There you go.
Cheers,
Dan
guys.
James
Thank you. Bye-bye.
In the tunnel, live for us here after this 7-0 win. It's amazing, isn't it? I don't want to get between in the middle of this. Interesting to hear him then, delighted but frustrated. He wants that second goal. That's just a player who wants to improve, who wants to be contributing, who wants everything going his own way. He's had such a good game, but he's still thinking about that opportunity as well.
Attackers have got to be selfish. You want to be selfish, you want to score, you're paid to score goals, you're paid to get assists. So I can understand his frustration there when it was exactly what he's saying. But yeah, again, you've seen the side of Dan James with 2 assists. So he's selfish in a sense. He knows that goal should have been his and how he wanted it. And he's asked the referee the question. I loved his honesty there, to be honest. Like the way he's answered that is brilliant.
He doesn't know the rule book though, does he? So he needs to
do his homework. But again, I just think he's a class act because this season is his, I shouldn't be saying breakout, but it's his best performance, and you can see why. And if he continues that rich vein of form, we are going to be having Premier League football next season, no doubt about it.
Yeah, of course, that led to the Joel Peru penalty. Peru with a couple of goals for him today. Mateo Joseph getting on the team sheet. And by the way, we're waiting for Daniel Farker, so as soon as he comes, we'll do that, and then we'll run through the goals because there's a lot to.
We'll be here at midnight.
There's a lot to. So it's the opposite of last week. We'll have a look at a couple. I'll tell you what. Let's go back to should we go back to the first half, how it all unfolded? Because again, we talked about it, and Dan James mentioned it there. Quick start. This is the 3rd game in a row now here at Elland Road where Leeds have got on the front foot straight off the mark, and it's Brendan Aronson who gets the first goal, Bridgie.
Again, I'll go back to what Dan James had just said there in his interview when I asked him what was said before kick-off. He said, we've got to expose them in behind their lines, break their lines. Well, he was the guy that made the runs when Joel Peru left the space. So it was Dan and Solomon and obviously Aronson. They were the ones that were on the forefront and getting behind the lines, exactly what the managers and the staff were asking. And it was just the perfect start because the pressure, the press, the movement was so dynamic, and Cardiff had to change system to try and handle it. And what happened? It got even worse. So that for me was an unbelievable goal because there was so many dynamics and rotations and movement in there. And Joel Peru with his pass was beautiful.
Yeah, movement like that to me is what they lacked on Monday night. Somebody dropping deep runs in behind, and you see it. I talked about the run from DJ for the goal itself. That out to in run is an absolute nightmare for a defender to try and mark that, and he times it so well. And he shows composure. He just doesn't panic there and shoot as most people would. Shows composure, and Brendan's just got to tap him.
Goes back to what you said. His end product this season has been whether it's goals or assists, has been incredible. That's the most improved thing from DJ this season.
Yeah, it's Brendan Aronson getting us off the mark there within the first few minutes of the game to put us 1-0 up. And you look at the second goal as well. There was a lot of what I would describe as kind of tidy finishes today. Finishes that needed putting in the back of the net, but done very well by the players who had those opportunities, Stu.
You've got to be in the positions and to finish them. And again, it's that run, that inside run from Dan, and manners up with play, as we said before, all good wingers do. They get in to make an impact in the box, and again, it's the end product from Dan that slides it across, and manners there for an easy tap.
Understanding for the players to know when to come narrow. Solomon and Sorensen and Dan James both coming narrow off the wings there to support Joel Peru once again, who dropped in to make the pass. So there was 3 centre-halves who going, do I go with Peru, do I not? Do I follow Solomon, Dan James? So they are so narrow because Bogle was given the width on this right-hand side. Firpo was given the width. And Cardiff just had no answer at the front
three. If you
three.
look at the amount of players, they suck Cardiff in because Cardiff think when the ball goes into an inside position that they have a chance of winning it. And then it's just a couple of passes, DJ's in and it's across. It's, you know, Cardiff, it's a great goal.
Dissected.
Okay, we'll take a look at the second half goal shortly, but first let's get some more reaction live in the Elland Road tunnel. When we crossed to Bryn and Tony after the Burnley game, there wasn't a huge amount to talk about and they were shivering wrecks. Now they're all warm, looking happy, with plenty to discuss. Let's head over. Bryn and Tony get their thoughts after this whopping win for Leeds United.
Cheers, Rich. Yeah, still a shivering wreck, but that's about the adrenaline that's pumping around the veins after watching what has been a standout performance from Leeds, has it not?
Absolutely superb, yes. Just too good for Cardiff. They came here certainly confident, but that was soon taken away pretty quickly. I just thought the pace we played at, the tempo we played at was too much for Cardiff. Their tactics, I have to say, played into our hands. But at the same time, we forced them into mistakes and our quality just took over.
There was a hunger about everything that Leeds did as well, wasn't there?
There was hunting in packs. You know, I loved it. Every single player, you know, was really going in fast, hard, making sure we won the ball back. No Cardiff player had the time or space to really get their head up to try and find that pass. They gave it away so often, but that was because the way we closed them down. But not just one or two players. It was every player out there, you know, was determined to get the ball back.
I mean, Rich mentioned the post-match at Burnley was shivering there in the cold, and when we spoke to Ethan Ampadu after that, there's a real sense in what he said that they were actually disappointed. It looked on the face of it like a good point, but they were disappointed with the outcome because perhaps they could have done a bit more, could have won the game. Maybe did you see that
Absolutely.
in what happened today?
Absolutely, and that was the positive I took from that, in that the players were disappointed, but they've gone to one of the big boys who haven't conceded for God knows how long, and they're disappointed not winning the game. So I'm thinking, okay, that frustration, you know, how will that come out today? Well, my goodness, Cardiff felt the force of it, and the boys just wanted another goal, then another goal. Even you wanted 7, and you got given 7, as the crowd did. So it was superb.
And as the game went on, the quality just got higher and higher and higher, didn't it? Some of the football that was played was really good as well.
Just the way that we moved the ball so very quickly. We found the right pass at the right time. Some of the crossing, Junior Firpo, I think, must have set up 3 goals. I think he did, which was wonderful. And I'm delighted for Mateo Joseph as well to get on the score sheet, because we need everyone scoring goals. And I'm looking through today. I think Piru got 2, but everyone else just got the 1. So we're scoring from all sorts of places.
And it sets everything up, tees everything up really nicely for what looks like, on the face of it, another difficult game in midweek.
They're all going to be difficult, but if we play like that and the opposition play like that, then they're going to be quite straightforward. But it won't be. Coventry will be difficult. It'll be away from home. The big boys are coming to town. The pressure is going to be on from now to the end of the season. But if we keep playing like that, handle it like that, we'll be absolutely fine.
Really looking forward to Daniel Farke's arrival down here just at the moment. I think he'll be pretty happy. We shall find out fairly shortly.
Yeah, well, if he's not happy after that, there's no pleasing the man, is there? We will hear from Daniel Farke very shortly. Let's whip through a few more of the goals here. We've obviously spoken to Dan James and we've seen that goal. And again, we talked about that intensity. At half-time, we said, it's about going out and repeating the start of the first half and going out and doing that again. They did that, and then it rolled on and on and on, didn't it? So let's take a look at the Joel Piroe. I've got a list here. The penalty, which of course came from, as we know, from a very upset Dan James. It was a bit of a ridiculous foul in the box, wasn't it? But I guess sometimes when you're 4-0 down, you're 3-0 down, you're in that situation. You're just trying to do anything, aren't you, to stop the play?
Yeah, it just becomes desperate defending from Cardiff. It's damage limitation, and he's here. DJ's. I think DJ's maybe got it wrong. Does he try and win the ball, or I don't know? But he's taking him out, but he gives a penalty. It's desperate because obviously Dan's ready to tap it in, and then at that stage it goes 4-0, and it's just about limiting the damage, really.
I think the other thing I like about this goal, or the setup for the penalty, how narrow again. Solomon played the pass to Piroe. Piroe has the shot. There you go. You'll see they're all so narrow. That's our wingers. Look at Firpo inside the 6-yard box there. So the reason that allows them to be in the position to score the goals is because the quality and understanding of the fullbacks giving us the width. And when you've got 3 players in attack so narrow like this, look, absolutely incredible. It's a defender's nightmare. And then when you've got to get your composure, I still say it, he's the best finisher at this football club, Joel Peru, and he's proved once again he made this penalty look easy.
Yeah, it was 25% of his goals this season now coming against Cardiff. I mean, he scored another couple against him, scored against them earlier in the season, moves him on to 12 now for the season. I know, Stu and Bridgie, you were talking about it. Was it his overall game today as well? Yes, he gets a couple of goals, but what he offered in attack was pretty special today.
Yeah, he does, and you know, he's come in for a bit of criticism throughout the season as well. He probably hasn't scored as many goals as, you know, I think by his own admission as well, but when he gets a chance, he tends to score more than he misses. And I liked his all-round play today. It's when he drops deep, as the first 2 goals, it's important you do have runners in behind. His feet works brilliant, so he's able to receive the ball in tight spaces as well. And you know, the manager has alluded to it in recent weeks as well. He scores goals at this level, and you know, there's a perfect example.
He hasn't got the running power and the pace to be the man that's going to be the ball over the top running onto. What I like about his performance today, and I admire so much as a striker, is the way that he's understood his role and responsibility. I get on the ball, I drop in, I make it tough for the defenders to come and mark us in that space. If somebody does, there's going to be a gap. When they don't, he turns and he gets on the ball, he faces forward, and we've got people with pace like Dan James, Solomon, Willie Nonto that are going to break through them little gaps. He understood his role perfectly today, and we thrived on it because it was a good performance.
Well, that's around 65 minutes into the game, at the point where Daniel Farke started making some changes, and one of those changes had instant rewards. Willie, you're right. I'm just checking the order here, Bridgie, to make sure I've got it in the right order. But you're right. It's Nonto who comes on and scores a really cracking goal. This is a real sort of Willie Nonto goal, isn't it, Stu?
It is, yeah. And we talked literally when we seen him about to come on. We said he needs to come on and make an impact, because I've felt in recent weeks that he probably hasn't made as big impact as he would have liked to have. But he comes on, he's only on the pitch a few minutes, and he you know, he cuts inside, and then you see all the teammates coming and celebrating with him. They know how much it means to him, and it probably feels like a bit of relief for him as well that he's come on and he has made that impact. And you can see he's so well thought of within the group. The substitutions are on the pitch. I was watching Elland at the bottom of the pitch here as well, and he was pumping the air too. So I'm delighted for Willie. He's a good kid, and you know, he wants to win, he wants to play, and it's been difficult for him.
This is a man that was given bad advice early on when he was given the advice that he wanted to leave the football club. It cost him. He's learned his lesson, he's knuckled down, he's won the fans back over, and that moment, like Stewie's just mentioned there, when the togetherness of the players coming towards him, all is forgiven, and he's we need somebody like Willie Nonto to perform and do this and be a team player, because that's when he's at his best.
He likes scoring against Cardiff, because if you remember, he had that scissor volley in the cup here at Elland Road not that long ago. That goal there, he does it a lot, doesn't he? His shot, he cuts it back the opposite way to where the keeper's going to be going. That's quite.
Stewie giving the keeper the eyes. You pretend you're going to shoot one way and then drag it the other way, and the keeper's expecting you to go for that far corner, and there's nothing worse when they've committed and they've got to try and get back to the near post. He does it so well.
Okay, let's take a look at another one. Why the heck not? It's Mateo Joseph, everyone. It's picking out a hat. Mateo Joseph, another one of those players that we were talking about, and Stu was saying, and Bridgie, putting in so much work. You can see the endeavour, but actually getting the goal, you know, as a striker, that's the bit that's going to hopefully make the difference for him here.
Hopefully so. He, again, another player who wants to score goals and who hasn't done it enough this season, but I've watched him a lot, and I was saying beforehand, he had a chance. To me, he makes movements, and he's always going across the front post, and sometimes a lot of the time he ends up outside of the front post where you can't score a goal. But this is a perfect example. He's in the middle of the 6-yard box. That's where I want my number 9, in the middle. It's a great ball by Junior, and obviously, yeah, exactly. If he makes a run, which if you watch him, he always does go across the front post, and you can't score from going outside of the post. And you know, I want my striker in the middle of the 6-yard box, and that's where he gets his goal from. But again, Junior Firpo, unbelievable assist.
I think Firpo's given us so much balance today. You know, as the attacking left full-back, he's just been magnificent. 3 assists, and like Stewie's mentioned there, the run of Joseph. As you make that run, you open the goal up. You're asking the question to the player on the ball to say, can you deliver it into an area? Because I'm in this space to score the goal, and he recognised it. And for that young man there to get the goal, he needed that. That was a massive confidence booster for the remainder of this season. But honestly, Junior Firpo, take a bow, he was brilliant. as a man that never got beat as a defender, and Tony Drago, he would have been so impressed with that cross and the assist that as a left back did today.
The Leeds fans then started chanting, "We want 7." Maybe a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but 7 we got. And I'll just double-check this. 7, the first time we won 7-0 by 7 goals here at Elland Road since that famous win against Southampton 1972 season. So that just tells you this isn't something that happens often for any team to go like that. Let's take a look at the goal that then tipped that balance to make it equal the scoreline. And Joel Pirro again, it's just a great finish, isn't it?
Yeah, again, it's Junior makes it again as well. He's cut in this time and he's played a reverse pass with his right foot. But again, the movement from Joel and when Joel's in this form, he's lethal inside the box, and you know he finds a bottom corner and it's another great finish, and it's just topped off a brilliant afternoon.
It's a very good finish with 2 players coming in around him as well, like either side of him, to slip it past the goalkeeper as well. You don't have to smash them. You've just got to make sure, and he's so composed and he makes it look so easy when he gets in that situation. But again, it was the attacking prowess of the players wanting to do that. And you know, we interviewed there Dan James. He said, "Well, we wanted the fans wanted 7. As players, we wanted 8." So I thought that was absolutely marvellous. But again, have a look at that little pass into his feet, the touch between the 2 players. Absolutely magic.
We mentioned 1972 Eddie Gray there in the director's box, looking very, very happy, as you would do. Interesting as well, you know, we'll hear from Daniel Farke shortly. It was Brendan Aronson, actually, that came off, wasn't it, when Mateo Joseph came on? It wasn't the swap. So Joel Pirro given the full 98 minutes as it was there, which isn't always the case. Often it's the swap between the 2, Bridgie.
Yeah, and I think that's why he recognised Joel hadn't been doing the runs in behind, so I think he was relishing that little role going into the 10 position anyway. The defensive side of the game, when you've got to go and close players down, Brendan Aronson all day long, but when you're in that cruise control mode, you don't need to press as much. Joel Pirro was perfect that position, and like you say, minutes in the legs, rest that front players and we go again.
Stuart, just very quickly, goes to show as well, you were talking about this the other day, that not to underestimate how difficult it is to go week in, week out. I say week in, week out, sometimes 2 games in a week, as it often is. It kind of puts into context that Burnley result. In fact, hold that thought, we're going to come back to it, because we'll get far more important thoughts, Stewie. No offence or anything. Far more important thoughts.
Come on, Stu, we're done.
From the Leeds United manager, who's with Bryn and Tony after today's 7-0 thumping of Cardiff City.
Yes, thanks, Rich. Yes, the first manager to oversee a Leeds United victory by 7 goals here at Elland Road since 1972. Daniel, what a day, what a performance.
Yes, obviously, great night for us, great scoreline. The lads were on it today. I've mentioned several times this league is relentless, and if you want to be successful in this league, you have to become relentless yourself, and this is what we showed today, really from the first to the last second. Otherwise, you can't beat a side who was here also on the run, 8 games unbeaten with some impressive results in the last weeks. You can't control and dominate them in the way we did today if you're not becoming that relentless, and for that, yes, compliments to the lads. So whoever was on the pitch, and even last minutes, we wanted to defend the clean sheet. We wanted to keep going, and for that, of course, a great win, great night for us. But also just 3 points, so not more. Good for the goal difference, but just 3 points.
There was some lovely football played, but it was a win actually built on hard work, wasn't it?
Well, my offensive players will be praised for their goals, for their assists, but especially when I think about Joel Pirro, for example, 2 goals today. But what he did before the first goal, he won the ball close to our own box and played the second last pass. Same for the second goal. So this is sometimes then not often in the spotlight. But I think the key was also today, you know, when you're 4-0 up, 5-0 up in the second half, sometimes the offensive players cheat a little bit because they want to concentrate, come on, 1 more goal or 1 more assist. No, today they played the part further on to stay disciplined, good in the pressing, good in the counter-pressing, running, sprinting back when necessary, and also to stay disciplined in their positions in order to prepare our chances. Because sometimes when you're up 4-0, 5-0 in the second half, it becomes a bit a basketball match transition. The offensive players are cheating, enjoying themselves. No, I think the key was the hard work and to stay disciplined, and also like the players who came in, they were not just thinking about selfish about themselves. They wanted to chip in for the team, and I think this was the key today. Great team spirit, great togetherness, and this is what makes you then shine as a team. And yeah, like you mentioned, so biggest win since whatever, more than 50 years. Yeah, the lads can enjoy it and enjoy the evening.
I think that was the feature, wasn't it? 7 goals, but it was the way that they ferociously won the ball back. I've never seen a team, I don't think, win the ball back so often. Not just one, hunting in packs. It was superb.
Yes, and to show this more or less from the first to the last second, that was crucial. So I know that this don't come around that often. But then from tomorrow on, we will be back at Thorpe Arch and work again.
When you're standing on the touchline today as a manager, incredibly pressurised role and a position, but could you actually take time to enjoy it at a point today?
I think it's important to enjoy also what you're doing. So I'm enjoy what I'm doing each every day, because if it becomes just work and just pressure and just suffering also sometimes, then you ask yourself why I'm doing all this hard work. So it's important also to enjoy it. But for me, it's more or less the most enjoyable thing is when we play football like this and the lads shine, and we can help them to shine because they deserve it. So because my job is the easiest when I'm sitting on the sideline, hands in my pocket and enjoy what they're doing. So their stuff is really tough anyhow, and for that we try to help them also a little bit in order to find some good performances and to find a proper approach and to speak about what we have to do and to prepare the games and also to help a bit tactically. But if they can shine like this is the most enjoying moments for me, and hopefully we'll have a few more during the season.
Did you really enjoy Burnley?
That was a hard watch, if I'm honest. Of course, you have to be switched on and focused, and sometimes you also have to be adapt to a side who plays just that pragmatical with long balls, and of course it's then different type of football, so you can't win each and every game with the fireworks. So it's also important that you show sometimes the steel and the to grind and to fight. Otherwise, just with nice football, you can't just win the league. So you have to do the hard work, and then sometimes also hard watch, like at Burnley, is also necessary if the outcome is then important. And for that, today we had made sure that this point at Burnley, important point, shines a bit more golden. And for that, yes, to play football like today is more what I like. Yes,
we all like it. Thank you, Daniel. Excellent.
Cheers,
day.
Daniel.
Thank you.
Excellent.
There you go, Daniel Farke's post-match reaction to this really big win here at Elland Road. It's interesting, the Burnley thing actually, Stu, because the point I was making to you just before we crossed to Daniel was we're always a little bit guilty of, if something's not quite as free-flowing or it's not 3 points of being like, oh. But actually, there is a context to this, isn't it? That the team go to Burnley, who are a team they don't want to drop points against, make sure that they don't, and then they come here, do the business. It's 4 points over those 2 games. And suddenly, with Burnley dropping points today, there's now a 5-point gap between those 2 teams. We can sometimes get a little bit stuck in the moment, can't we? As we shouldn't get too stuck in the moment of the high here today, but there is a sort of level playing field to be at.
There is, and as fans, like we're fans, we want them to win all the time, but we realise that, sometimes it's not possible, and you keep the gap, you maintain the gap between ourselves and Burnley, and then today we go and put 7 past Cardiff and they drop points, and all of a sudden Monday night looks an even better result than what it was before the game. So there is context to it all, but these lads are delivering. They're delivering week in, week out under serious pressure, and that's what the best teams do. You see Man City for years continuing to win at the top level, and to be able to do that takes a serious mentality.
Yeah, it's funny because as you do when you're going to be doing a bit of post-match analysis, you write down a few notes. I've written down so many player names here as players that we could talk about individually today because of the performances. We're not going to go through each one, but you really could from front to back.
Well, your paper was empty on Monday night. There was nothing written on there, so you've done well to find. You've had to go again. That's the difference. Like you say, it's a marvellous performance on Monday. Not a marvellous performance, a marvellous point. It wasn't a marvellous performance when you look at it for an attacking sense of it, but like you say, after you watch today, you understand why that is so invaluable, because the point difference is huge. Everybody's happy, and the message that sends out to everybody else in the league going, oh, wow, Leeds won, they're at the top, they're under pressure, and they've got a team that were unbeaten in 8 games, and they've done that to them. Not many teams win 7-0.
And what I will say as well is there's nothing worse than coming in after a game when you're in a promotion race and checking the opposition results and seeing that they have won. It's soul destroying at times, especially when you've dropped points. So that's a big performance, a big win, and you know, the other teams will take notice today.
I've got one final question for you, just because it's Monday, transfer deadline day. That's some performance there,
It is.
isn't it?
We don't need anybody now. That's what.
Is it the case? Is it the case that actually, you know, Stewie, from your recent experience, settled squad? Why would you bring anyone in? Or is it a case, from maybe a managerial point of view, if there is a player there that might be able to add something to go out and do that bit of business? What do they do here in the build-up to Monday, if there is something to be done?
Well, the manager touched on it, that they won't fall asleep, and I know we're joking about the win and not needing anybody, but I wouldn't let that performance today cover up maybe positions that they do need to go and strengthen. There's been talk of certain players coming in, but I think the manager's been clear as well, is that, and I know myself, he won't want anybody to come in and disrupt the dynamic of the group, because he's got it absolutely bang on here. If the right player becomes available that he thinks can come in and strengthen the group both on and off the pitch, certainly they'll do something, but I don't think they'll rush into anything that, you know, that doesn't make sense for the club.
I mean, definitely the scouting department will have players that they've been monitoring. Like Stewie's saying, you've got players that you're monitoring. You don't just monitor the stats and the figures and the performances. You manage it. You have a look at what their attributes like are off the field. Are they going to? Are they've got a disruptive past? Are they petulant when they're not getting picked? You've got to take all this into consideration, because the dynamics that we have at this moment in time, Stewie's alluded to, you cannot go and have a panic buy for somebody to come in and be a bad egg.
Yeah, and the problem as well, sorry Bridgie, the problem as well is, if you go and get somebody from like a Premier League club, you know, Premier League clubs maybe do a deal that the player has to play, and at the minute I don't see anybody coming in and you know, the manager dropping any players here in this team, so you can't just bring a player in and you know, be dictated to by a Premier League team to say, listen, he has to go there and play so many games. So
I did notice, somebody on the Southampton squad wasn't involved today.
Really?
Yeah, Archer. Is that correct?
Don't look at me.
He wasn't.
He's got a groin injury though.
Allegedly, Stu. That could be a massive smoke screen. I'm trying to sugarcoat and put a massive spin on it. I hope I'm right, because I'll tell you what.
Seen him in the Fullerton car park.
I'm told to wrap up.
I would love to see. You're asking me in honesty. If that was it, I'll look at things like that. Why is that player? Is it an injury? Why is he not involved? There's 48 hours left. I've been involved in a last-minute deadline transfer. You think you're going to one club and you end up going to another club at the last minute. It's madness. So I hope I'm barking up the right tree.
Yeah. How was your groin just before that? Had a groin injury. Funny that.
That was my career.
Guys, absolute pleasure. Stewie Dallas, your fantastic insight and the expertise of Michael Bridges, who did tell you there'd be one goal in this game. Leeds United have demolished Cardiff with the biggest scoreline at home since 1972. Nice one, Bridgie. Off to Coventry on Wednesday night. We'll bring you all the action here on LUTV.